Welcome to Beautifully Ruined, the podcast where we believe that being beautifully ruined isn't the end, but the beginning of a remarkable journey. I'm your host, Adrian Calagon, and we made it, guys, to episode number 3. This episode is titled, What You Want Wants You To. As far back as I can remember, I've wanted nice cars, nice houses, nice clothes, like all these things that I've wanted, right? But during my journey in Portland, Oregon, specifically, I recall when, during my walking period, every day I would arrive at this certain bus stop. And this bus stop, and this is by the time, I had money for an actual bus fare. And at this bus stop, while I'm waiting for the bus to come, I would pass, I would see this luxury car dealership in my view. And all I would think is, man, one day I'm going to be able to get a car from there. Like every day, I would just fantasize by it. I would walk by there and I would look at all the nice cars. And I mean, these are luxury cars, Maseratis, Range Rovers, top of the line Mercedes, everything you could think of, right? And I'm just thinking like, man, one day I'm gonna have that car. And I even remember telling people then, I'm gonna get a car from there. And of course, when you're walking, they're looking at you like, what? Oh, okay. I'll believe it when I see it, right? So, of course, I end up getting the Cadillac from my sis. She sold me the Cadillac, I lost it, found it. And at this point in time, I'll never forget, I remember I had been reading The Secret, and The Secret teaches you about the law of attraction. And I found it so interesting because a lot of these principles I had been applying in my own life, not even knowing that that's what I was doing. Like I always had some form of vision board or, cutting pictures out for things or goals that I wanted. I was a visual learner, so that's how I took things in. Well, this one particular day, I remember the engine light coming on in the Cadillac, and it had been on for maybe like a week or so, and I'm just like, Lord Jesus, what now? I get the oil change, I do everything right on here. Why is this engine light coming on? And another interesting part is people would always stop me, ask me about this car, wanting to buy it all the time, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. And I'm thinking I only bought it for a fraction of that, but I would hold on to it. I would never sell it, right? So this one day I said, you know what? In the book, it tells you that you should try things out that you want, get a feel for them, and I read the book, I watched the movie. So I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So this is my first time ever going to that dealership that I told you. So one day I got off of work, head to the dealership. I was just going to go try it out, right? And I get to the dealership, I see all the extravagant cars, and then I see this small selection of what would be the, used cars. There were only a handful, but they had a small selection. And I thought to myself, let me look over here. This is probably what I could afford, right? And so, and to kind of give you an idea of my finances, at the time, I had my small little grill business where I was selling grills, wholesale. I was like a reseller. And also, I had been working, and I was still working for, at that time, the Department of Education and collecting for them. So I'm looking at these used cars, and I'm like, oh, they're nice. And so I finally get a hold of a sales guy, and I said, hey, can I look at this Range Rover? And I don't even know how old a Range Rover was. It wasn't a new one. It maybe was, 6 or 7 years old. I don't know, somewhere around there. So I said, hey, I just want to look inside this car. So he opened it up. I get in. He was like, hey, you want to go on a test drive? I'm like, yeah, sure. And in my mind, I'm thinking I'm just going to test drive in this car. I'm not about to buy it. I just want to get the feel, right? So I crank it up. And as soon as I crank it up, all the lights came on. I mean, check engine light, this light, that light. And remind you, I got there. I had been riding on the check engine light for maybe about a couple weeks, right? So, and to be honest with you, something I was used to. It wasn't out the norm to see engine lights or check lights or all these different type of lights coming on. So I'm turning it on, and I'll never forget. He looked at me. It seemed like he was a little nervous, like I was gonna get discouraged by the lights, but I wasn't. And I was like, okay, let's take it for a roll. And he was like, you know what? I really think you look better in that truck over there. And he pointed to like this Land Rover. I think it was like a Discovery or something, brand new. And I'm like, nah, I'll do this. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, bro, you are not about to get my hopes up and try to have me in some new car that I know I can't afford, or get me in a car and tell me I need a cosigner or I need $20,000 down, something ridiculous, right? So I'm like, nah, I'll just stick with this. So we do the test drive, and I'm actually loving it. I'm like, okay, nice. You know, I done came here, got a feel for it. But to be honest with you, it was nice. It was a good ride or what have you. But I didn't get any extraordinary feelings. I didn't get any feelings like I have to have it, right? So we get back to the dealership, and he said, hey, you know, I really think you should just at least test drive one of the new ones. And in my mind, I was like, okay, you know what? The book said, just test drive it. Just give it a try. And I'm thinking to myself like, bruh, I'm a bill collector. It's no way that you're going to convince me to do something that A, I can't afford, B, that I don't want to do. Like, it's no way that this guy is going to convince me to put me in hardship. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So as we get in the car, I'll never forget, I climb up in there. It was a little bit higher than the Range Rover. And I get in there, and it just felt comfortable. I didn't have to adjust the seat. I didn't even have to adjust the mirror. I turned on the radio. The radio was already on like my preferred station. Like everything was like in sync. So as we begin to drive, he's like, you look good in this car. And I'm thinking like, I feel good in this car. I know that much. He was like, this is your car. And I'm still thinking like, bruh, I don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it feels like my car. Yeah, it feels like home. Like, it feels like it's mine, right? But I'm thinking like, there's no way that I, Adrian, the person who had went to, you know, all these little buy here, pay here places, and having them people, you know, me seeing a nice car and they're saying, no, you have to get this. You know, them telling me that I have to get something lesser. And then me getting almost into a situation where like I felt that that's probably all that I could get, right? And I'm just like, there's no way. So we get back, and I get this just feeling like, bruh, this is your truck. This is it. This would, oh my God, this is what you want to strive for. This is what you want to aim for, right? And he was like, let me go inside. He was like, do you mind, you know, at least filling out the application? And then someone was like, you know what the hell? I'll go ahead and do it, you know? And to be honest with you, at the time, like, I really didn't know too much about credit. I didn't know anything about it. All I know is every time I went to go get a car before, they were like, you need a cosigner, you don't make enough, you don't do this, you don't qualify, basically. So I'm just thinking like, there's no way, and what can it hurt? Oh well, let's just try it out. So I fill out the application. He works his numbers. I'm back down there looking at the truck, just looking at it. I'm looking at all the details of it, right? And I'm really now seeing myself in this car. Like, I'm seeing myself go home in this truck. I'm seeing myself buy groceries in this truck. I'm seeing myself, you know, to do fun things with my friends in this truck. I'm visualizing all of this, right? And I kid you not, maybe not even 20, 30 minutes after, he said, you ready to take it home? You have insurance? And I looked at this man like, what are you talking about, sir? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, this is your truck. I said, nah. How much the notes? How much do I got to put down? Do I need a cosigner? He was like, you don't need any cosigner. Nothing down. It's yours. All I need is your insurance, full coverage insurance, and this is yours. Man, this man told me how much the car note was. Like, the car note was not an extreme amount. Like, it was affordable. It was a low amount on top of everything. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, how is this possible when the buy here, pay here people wouldn't even let me get like the top of the line car there, and they were asking for like almost half the amount of the car down to even get it. I'm just thinking, like, how is this possible? So I'm still thinking like it got to be a catch, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and fill out this deal and get some insurance, full coverage insurance real quick, and let's just see, call his bluff, right? And sure enough, I did the insurance. This man gave me the keys. I had to figure out, how to get the other car back, which all worked out. But it led me to believe that what you want wants you. It's literally just waiting for you to figure out that not only that you deserve it, that you can have it, but for it to align with every aspect of your life. And more importantly, knowing that, all those times when I was like, I'm going to get a car from there, and it didn't happen immediately. This happened like sometime after, right? But it's understanding that the delay isn't necessarily a no. And 9 times out of 10, the delay is needed to build your character, to build you up to the point where you even realize that this is something that you can have. This is something that you'll do right by. This is something that aligns with who you've become. And if I were to be honest, had I gotten that truck probably when I first got there, I would have never did all the other work needed for me to align with having that truck. But do know, whatever it is that you want is just waiting on you. And a lot of times, you don't even know what it is that you really want until you go through that process of the delay, right? Where your character is building, where you're becoming a better version of yourself. And then you really realize that the things that you used to want are no longer. And now you want other things that you couldn't even imagine having. So, if this resonated with anybody, please like, comment, share, leave a note. Let me know about a story about something that you attracted, or let me know something that you want. And until next time, peace.